Hello, it's Wolfletech. Today, I'm going to start a stories series with y'all. If you noticed, I've not been on YouTube recently. Why? I was on the board of Anthropomorphic Events Incorporated Organization United, or AEIOU. I was on the board for 2.5 years, and let me tell you, this was all but expected. I had only moved into my apartment for 2 months when AEIOU was formed. My last video, shown in the corner, was of the drawing tablet video. It was my first and only YouTube video that was recorded in my apartment when we moved in this exact spot actually. I have streamed on Twitch, but not regularly. Also, this story is from my recollection, from my perspective, how I got involved, and is more to provide historical content to the history of AEIOU. February 8th started out fine. It was a typical Tuesday at work for me. This was 2 days after the end of Sin City MerCon, a con that was running its first year in Las Vegas. Corgi Events LLC, which is owned by Corey Wood, aka Treble, ran by a board, put on Sin City MerCon. One of the leaders of the board was Coy, who was also the con chair of most of the Corgi Events cons at the time. There was also a few others on the board, but for now, I will only reference 2 of them, Chai and Sparks. Chai was the maid of Coy at the time, and Sparks was in charge of AV and IT for Corgi Events. The night of February 8th, I got word that Treble had just fired Coy from the board. This started a chain reaction. After Coy was fired, several others, including Chai and Sparks, followed suit. And other conventions all from the West, all 4 of them, had other people follow as well. Aquatifer, where I was the local operations director at the time, was mostly spared, due to mostly being isolated from most of the Corgi Events board. It was February 9th at this point. The websites all went down as Sparks taken the con sites offline, and the email was sent. The email was a BCC email to dealers warning them not to send money to Corgi Events. At this point, my goal was just to get things under control, so I redirected the domains to a server I had and put the statement that Treble had made as the landing page for all the sites, all in a matter of hours. This drew the attention of Sparks, who then sent me a DM on Twitter. By this time, a group of us formed to help get the situation under control on the back end. I continued by getting the websites temporarily fixed. Fun fact, this is how I actually joined Aquatifer in the first place back in 2017. When Corgi Events was actually named Ponyville Bronies LLC at the time. We as a group continued to calm the flames of the fall as best as we could. There was a lot of support for both sides who didn't want to get involved in the fire, just wanted to save the conventions. Being a long-term planner, plans were made years ago when I first started, but were never implemented. This made for quick action for the IT systems to be brought back online. Starting Wednesday night and going until Thursday, more and more information came to the attention of the team trying to save the events. The damage to Corgi Events had been done, but we all came together to help save the conventions we put so much time and effort into. We weren't going to let them go down in flames. There were 8 of us working hard to save these events we cared so much for. This then sparked an idea. I distinctly remembering uttering the words, "Why don't we form our own nonprofit?" to Amazon in a voice chat, and then mentioned it to the rest of the team. At this point, there was a growing thought that was one of the few ways forward, while we were running out of options and running out of time. On February 11th, 2022, 8 of us, 2 from each region or state, formed Anthropomorphic Events Incorporated Organization United. The board consisted of Amazon, Kiggy, Maxwell, Nova, Rory, Von Bon, Zeno, and myself. With the experience from being on the board of 2 nonprofits in the state of Wisconsin, as well as being on the original board for Wisconsin Furs Incorporated, this allowed us to move with hustle to create the organization. The name, the name is one of those things that end up being awesome at first, but everyone started disliking it after a while. Being the treasurer, I had to use the name the most, but I also was the one who helped come up with it. Wisconsin state law states that the incorporated needs to be in the name, but it does not need to be at the end. So we had our I of AEIOU. Many years later, we found out Uncle Kage just calls us the vowels, but something wanted to keep easy to remember as an acronym. Somebody also asked, what about the why? We came up with the term, the why is for you. We created a statement at 11:30 p.m. Central Time and posted to all of the chats about our intentions with the organization. After getting all of our ducks in a row that night, getting things situated, I could finally get back to my planned activities for that weekend. I had a hotel room for Devil's Head Resort as Furski was happening that weekend. As chair at the time of Furski, when this all went down, I loaded my car, drove to Devil's Head, and I arrived at the front desk at 5 a.m. The front desk person was surprised I arrived so late. After a light conversation, he gave me my room keys. I loaded in and fell asleep for about an hour and a half. After doing my duties, getting the stuff about 8 a.m., we had a fun-filled day on the hill. It may not show it, but this is a picture of Wolf with 1.5 hours of sleep. I slept very well that night for sure. So this is just the beginning. Some of my stories of being part of AEIOU. There is a lot more of the history of AEIOU, from how we pulled off Golden State to hanging out with John, the maintenance guy at Denver, that I have. In the next of the series is how we got our 501c3 in almost record time. One of the reasons why I wanted to start this series is beginning as of January 6th, 2025, the organization formerly known as AEIOU did 2 things. First, they moved the organization to Colorado. Second, the name of AEIOU has been changed. It now goes by Anthro Events Incorporated. Thank you all for sticking to the end, and remember, AEIOU together, community forever. Bye.